Thank you for having us. Two things. I never speak from notes, but I'm doing it today, so I will speak slowly, because I also speak very quickly. And I apologize to the translators. I've actually cut quite a bit out because I'm aware of the time, so there'll be some skipping. It's really an honor for us to be with you today to represent Franciscan Mission Service. As Tom said, we are a lay mission organization. We're based in Washington, D.C. We have been preparing and sending lay missioners overseas for over 25 years. And over these years, we've reached 19 countries throughout Asia, Africa, and Latin America. We were founded in the mid-1980s at the request of the English-speaking conference. The provincials came together and wanted to create an organization to animate friars for mission. They asked Father Anselm Moons of the Dutch province to come to the United States to begin this work. Father Anselm, whom some of you may know, and who was a missionary himself in Pakistan for over 20 years, also helped start the Africa Project. He had a missionary heart and experience and was also a great visionary. So he agreed to come. However, Father Anselm had a different vision. He said, "The future of the church is with the laity." Therefore, he decided to make Franciscan Mission Service a lay mission sending organization so that, and as he says here, women and men, married and single, who would stand shoulder to shoulder with their religious and ordained counterparts in the developing world, while at the same time learning from the other impoverished side of the globe. He had this vision that we would work together, and it is the work that we continue to try to make possible. The second part of his vision was that North America was really a really important mission field. In other words, he envisioned these lay missioners going overseas after intensive formation and then 2 to 6 years of service to return to the US and Canada, transformed by their mission experience, to be commissioned for reverse mission or lifelong mission to transforming the church and society in North America. Their lifelong work is to bring gospel and mission values to a place where individualism and power were and continue to become the gods of our society. From this vision, our purpose was declared in our mission statement, which is about building partnerships with lay men and women to serve in solidarity with the poor and to serve in solidarity with our religious Franciscan brothers and sisters. I think it's also worth mentioning that several of our lay missioners have since become friars or sisters, 2 who are part of the Holy Name Province in New York, and continue to remain involved in our organization. We have stayed true to Father Anselm's vision for over 25 years, and we have built upon it and expanded it to create more pathways to make this mission experience and this Franciscan experience available to more lay people. For now, I at least want to tell you one reason why I personally am so committed to this work that we're doing at Franciscan Mission Service. I can tell you that my life working and living among the Franciscans has profoundly impacted my own faith and my practice of it. At the time when I took this position at Franciscan Mission Service, I was discerning leaving the Catholic Church. I wasn't sure that that was the place for me. I felt marginalized as a woman and in my social gospel commitments. But God made my call very clear to me. And even though I did not understand it at the time, and I was very resistant to moving to Washington from my home state of Minnesota, I did, and I'm grateful for that. Because it has been this place, this Franciscan table, that I have felt welcomed and challenged to grow in my Catholic and now very Franciscan faith. I have found a place to use my gifts to contribute to the building of God's kingdom. I have invited to be a leader in a place where women usually are not invited to be one. And mine is not a unique story. I have seen this sense of welcome and come as you are attitude time and again amongst the Franciscans and in our organization. Lay people are seeking a place in the church, a place they can serve, a place where they're called to work for social justice, the care for creation, and a place where they say they are seen and they are valued. I offer you this, a bit of my own testimony, because I want you to know that the work of Franciscan Mission Service changes people's lives. And so, a little bit more about that and lay people in the United States, and I think that their experience can transcend to other places as well. I've tried to understand what are lay people, especially young adults, looking for, so we can meet those needs. About 2 years ago, I was invited to give a talk at the Conference for the Major Superiors of Men in the United States, and I did some research for that talk. And I sent out a survey to young adults across the United States, and I asked them 2 questions. Why do you remain in the church today? Or if you left, why did you leave? And what is your hope for the church in the next 10 years? And here is what I found. Lay people are seeking faith formation. They are, and they're not getting it. They're seeking an invitation to the table, a place to serve and live out their faith. This is really important, the invitation to the table. I've been in many tables where I'm the first woman being invited to the conversation. This is probably my 6th or 7th example of being one of very few women, because the invitation is very important. And especially young adults today, they more and more need to be invited. They don't just show up on their own. So don't forget that piece, because we want the invitation. They want intentional Catholic and Christian community. They want to learn to be bridge builders because they're very aware of the divisions that exist in the world today. They feel them, they see them, they are aware of them. Between traditional and progressive approaches to our faith, we have them at Franciscan Mission Service. People who want adoration, and people who want to just do service and social justice, and we're trying to bring them together so they can understand and learn from each other the value of both sides of our faith. The divisions between lay and religious, the changing demographics always in our church, and they want to address poverty and suffering in the world. They know it's there, and they're not okay with it. Okay, so this is what they want. In my experience working in the church, I have found that the church needs some help making it possible to meet these needs of lay people and young adults. They need support in offering faith formation. They need to help creating pathways for people to serve. They need help teaching people to be bridge builders. All of these things people want. The church needs more help. Invite us to help is what I'm here to say. So I hope that we can all agree that what the world really needs in all of this is a Franciscan spirit. And that is what I have found. The world needs compassionate servant leaders that address poverty, suffering, and living out the good news. And I believe this incredible embrace of Pope Francis, with his many lived encyclicals, as the Cardinal referred to them earlier this week, is a witness to the need of the Franciscan spirit in our world, that embrace that the world is giving Pope Francis. There's a moment for us. So these are the values, the Franciscan values upon which we live out our life at Franciscan Mission Service. Being radical for the poor, living a radical and simple life, being relevant to the needs of people today, being deeply relational and practicing a ministry of presence, and being bridge builders, being reconcilers. So, we have tried to create more pathways for lay people to have this experience, and we're doing them through our programs. Our main program is recruiting and training and forming, sending, supporting lay missioners for 2 to 6 years overseas. After a missioner is accepted to our program, after about 6 months of discernment with us, they go through an intensive application process. They attend discernment days with us. They pray with us. They come to Washington, D.C. for 3 months of full-time training. And we invite about 6 to 7 missioners to this formation that begins each fall. Father Ignacio Harding, who is a missioner in Bolivia, originally from the United States, has said, FMS missioners are the most prepared lay missioners I have ever worked with. They truly understand and engage in the ministry of presence, a hallmark of Franciscan mission. I mention this kind of affirmation not to say that what we do is perfect or great, but to emphasize the importance of committing time and resources to training and formation. A few years ago, my office was directly across from our classroom at FMS. Regularly, the missioners in training would come into my office during their break and they would say, "Thank you. Thank you for investing in us. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for making this formation experience possible. It is not just formation for mission, it is formation for life." So we have handed out this document today just to give you a little sense of the formation process and then going on to mission. I have a more detailed document about our formation program and what it entails. If you are interested, we didn't bring enough copies for everyone, but I'm happy to give you one after. After formation in DC, and then also 2 more months in the country where they will serve, missioners serve in an area where there are Franciscans, and often directly in Franciscan ministries. It is important that we partner in mission service with Franciscans for several reasons. Partnership with established Franciscans who are either local people or missioners themselves gives our lay people an entry into the community. It also helps them discern where they will serve. Part of our philosophy is that our missioners give their time and their presence in places where local people invite them, not where we impose ourselves. We work alongside Franciscans also because it provides them ongoing mentorship in their Franciscan faith, so that through this whole experience, they become imbued with the Franciscan charism in a way that will never leave them. Some of the forms of service that we have participated in the last few years are healthcare in South Africa and Bolivia, education, care for creation, empowering women and girls, prison ministry, legal aid and advocacy, and here you'll see a picture of a legal aid project started in Kenya in the slums to start a Franciscan Justice and Peace Clinic that continues today, even though our missioner has left. We're very happy about that. And also pastoral outreach. Here's a picture of Father Stan Brennan, who passed away in the last year or so in South Africa, and one of our missioners who worked with him in his last days. So what I'd like to do is show you just a 2-minute testimonial video from a young person who is on mission with us. Can you hear it?
I worked in a bakery with women, helping them prepare their little pastries. I really wanted some one-on-one time with them to allow them time to open up, so that they really don't have any free time. So I just decided to help them with their household chores. I went to their house on Saturday and spent time with them, and I found that in those everyday experiences is when they really opened up. So whether it was scrubbing a dirty shirt and hearing about childhood experiences, or peeling potatoes and hearing about abuse in the family, it was in those moments that really defined my mission. When I left for mission, I had just graduated from college, and in many ways I was just a naive girl full of ideals. The experience of mission is challenging. challenging, and the things that you experience and the things that you see, you find what you're capable of, and you grow.
It's a short video that we use to recruit missioners when we visit Franciscan universities and parishes throughout the United States. Currently, our missioners are all serving in Bolivia, and until recently, we were also in South Africa, Zambia, and Kenya. All three of those sites closed because of a change in leadership in the Franciscan family, or in the case of South Africa, as I mentioned, Father Stan passed. And right now we're working very hard to establish new sites, and that's really part of the reason I'm happy that we are here, because we really want to find sites where we are partnering with Franciscans. This has been a challenge. We heard the witness of this challenge. 10. Just previously, and I think, how can that be? There's so much need, and there are lay people prepared to go. Let's make this happen. I want to talk, you saw the picture of the people walking towards the Porciúncula. I was saying we create many pathways to making mission possible. I'm just going to talk about one more, which is our short-term programming, which we've developed in the last couple of years. We'll go back after. And we're creating these 2-week experiences so people can have an experience of mission, possibly getting them excited to go on a longer mission, or also to invest more in their own communities where they are. Some of our goals of these experiences are to build social and cultural awareness, to build community in the group, to teach about structural poverty and the role of mission in our lives, to expose people to the Franciscan spirituality through daily prayer and dialogue, to offer a really important faith journey experience, going deep and getting to visit with the local people that we have relationships with. Almost all of our participants share with us that the experience had a profound impact on their understanding of the world and their place in it, especially from a faith perspective. A student from a Franciscan university who went with us last year to South Africa said, "It is hard to come on a trip like this and not see God everywhere, not to be renewed spiritually. Every story, interaction, view makes a lasting impact. I now have a real-life understanding of my Franciscan education. My faith has been refreshed." One other way that we are reaching more and more people is through our social media ministry, which I invite you all to engage in and to share widely. We have invested in the last few years in a staff to bring stories of mission and Franciscan values, lived Franciscan experience to more people. And we know young people are on the web, so we are there too. On our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, we have many places. I think the richest place where we have the best content is on our blog. We do series for the liturgical calendar. For example, this last Lent, we have Lenten series. We did one series on sacraments and social mission. There's a lot of rich material there, and I think that this is something that some lay people especially are looking for, and so I invite you to share that with them. One other thing, on our every Friday we have a theme called Franciscan Fridays, and we invite not just but often Franciscan religious to contribute to our blog, and we would love to hear from you if you would be interested in contributing to one of our Franciscan Friday blogs. So, this last piece, well, I want to mention just a couple things about where I think we can go together, but often I get the question, How are you funded? Well, if you're not part of a Franciscan group, where do you get your money? How do you make this happen? A lot of work. We do mission appeals. We have individual donors. I do a lot of speaking. We get program revenue. We get about 20% annually, our budget, from the Franciscans. Not guaranteed, but different parts of the family, the seculars, the OFMs, the conventuals, sisters. We write a lot of grants. We have a board that's engaged with us. This is a big part of our work is to raise funds. We are growing. The amount of interest from lay people to participate in our programs is growing. The funding is where we're lacking. So we're starting to have to say no to people because we don't have the funding to send them, but we're working on it. So our hopes for partnership. Where can we go together? At FMS, we desire to significantly expand the number of people exposed to mission evangelization and a lived experience of the Franciscan charism. We want to be able to allow more people to do that. We want to create mutually beneficial lay religious partnerships in mission. There was a friar who was working with us. He taught in our formation program. We have about 20 different Franciscans who help teach in our, Franciscans and lay people that teach in our formation program. He had been a Franciscan for 30 years. He said to us, "My participation in FMS has deepened my call to living simply and in solidarity with the poor because of the way that your lay missioners live their lives. I think we have things to continue to teach each other." We want to continue to be invited to contribute to the larger conversation in the church about mission and lay ministry. Our partnership with you. We ask you to consider promoting us, promoting our work on your website, share about our blog and social media. Embrace us as a full member of the family because I believe that there is an important place for us and for the lay people who want to live this life. Participate in our programs. We've had religious in the past go through our missioner training program, our re-entry program that lasts about 2 weeks for missioners coming back. It's very difficult to come back into one's own culture. We also have religious people considering going on short-term mission with us. Partner with us. We're only successful because we're part of the wider family. We are not just an NGO or a nonprofit with a lone vision. We need to work together. So my question is, how much more can we do together, and what do you have in mind that could make it possible for us to grow this exciting ministry that we have? Thank you.
Thank you so much.